ready? Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh my gosh, you made it. It's another episode of We Did That Shit. I'm Maya. And I'm Bibbi.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. We're back for another week. Episode 9. Woo, woo.
Episode 9. Oh, my gosh. We're almost in the double digits. That's exciting.
Right. Isn't it? It's like, oh, my goodness. We made it.
Right. We made it. So what's going on with you? How was your week?
How was my week? Let me tell you something. My week was, kind of stressful and, kind of relaxed. It started out with, I had some people over to my house, and we did our book club and, just like vegged out and talked about our book. The conversation was so interesting. We read Gabrielle Union's We're Going to Need Some More Wine. And that book just really, it amazed me. And the reason being is because it really made me look at Gabrielle Union in a different way. It made me realize that, I didn't like her for so long. And I understood why I didn't like her for so long when I read the book. But then at the end of the book, I was like, oh, my goodness, I get a better understanding of her, and it was so many layers to that book. I would suggest everybody to read it because it really is a lot of layers just about life in general, about race in general, not just Gabrielle Union's, but it could be so many other things, like I said.
So are you saying that if I read the book, so you're saying that if I read the book, then I'm going to start liking Gabrielle Union?
Yeah, you have to start liking Gabrielle Union. I mean, let me tell you something.
Okay, well, I'm not going to read the book.
It totally changed. Oh, okay. Well, because it totally changed my view of her. And like I said, it was because what she went through in her younger years, it translated into who she had become. And you could tell, like that bitchy person who I kind of thought she was. It was a reason.
Who she is.
And it was who she was, But I think that she's transitioning out of that because sometimes you have that moment where you realize, this is who I am, and you don't necessarily like that person. So you do everything that you can to change it, and so that's what I got from the book.
I'll wait until she changes because I know, a lot of people go through a lot of stuff in life and that doesn't, they don't become a bitchy person because of it, i.e. me. So I'll wait till she changes as a person, then I'll read the book after I,
after you see the change.
She is, every time we see her somewhere, she's always got, and I just be like, oh my gosh, life is good, child, smile, something. But anyway, and I don't want to, I want the proof to be in the pudding. If she going to change, I want to see the difference.
Right. Well, we'll let us know when you finally read the book. But yeah, so other than that, I mean, the rest of the week was okay until the end of the week, and then I had some issues in my house. I live on a lake, and because I live on the lake, it's things that come with living on a lake, and spiders and things like that are associated with living on a lake. And when the weather changes, because it's been getting warm and cold and then warm and then cold, they've been coming into my house. And I can't live like that, with no spiders and lake bugs. So I had some issues with, just really them coming in because it was getting warm and just had to get them out. Because I can't be seeing those spiders walk around.
I know you can't be with right.
Yeah, so like I said, the week started off good, then it ended out kind of stressful, but here we are, we're back into the swing of things, and everything's all good. So how was your week?
My week, well, it was my first week back to work after the little procedure that I had or whatever. It was a little rough. I was really tired at work, coming straight home, going to bed. But I think, it's Thursday now. I'm getting a little better, moving around a little bit. I'm still taking naps right after work. But, yeah, I hate, I can't stand being busy. And I just got a lot going on right now. So looking forward to my brother. Shout out to my big brother. He's turning 50 tomorrow.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, so we're going to party this weekend for his 50th birthday. And I'm excited about that. And other than that, just getting a lot of things done. But I do like progress. So, that's good.
Right.
Oh, and I met a guy. Turns out he's a loser, but I met a guy anyway. So that means I was open. I gave somebody my phone number and all that other kind of stuff. But
we have to give you at least credit for being open because
exactly.
We know how you are, so we have to at least give you credit for being like, oh, okay, I'll take a chance on you.
Right. And that's kind of what it was like, because he wasn't letting up. He wasn't letting me leave without my number and everything. And I'm like, confidence can get you far. And I was like, oh, all right. And I didn't give him a fake number or nothing. So there we go. I tried it.
Okay.
So what are we getting into this week?
Our topic this week is Wakanda Forever.
OMG. Wakanda Forever. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a loyal citizen of Wakanda.
We're going to talk about the movie.
I am a loyal citizen of Wakanda. I am.
Yeah, I think we all are. Well, I know we are.
No, yeah, because I know a lot of people are not. I even put that on. I tried to watch The Housewives for a little bit. I keep trying, and they just, and I even put it on Twitter, like, you know what, I'm out. I can't. We don't even behave this way in Wakanda. I can't even take this anymore.
Right, this is beneath us.
Right. I just can't even do it. All right, so I'm excited about that. So before we get into that, do we have a Black History Month edition of Who Did Some Shit?
We definitely do.
All right,
so you all know that I've been putting, my Black History facts out there for all of our social media platforms. Check them out, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. And so this week we are highlighting Dr. Thelma Patton Law. And this information comes to us from, once again, blackamericaweb.com, and it's written by D.L. Chandler. And again, it's coming to us from blackamericaweb.com. Dr. Thelma Patton Law was one of the first women to work as a doctor in the state of Texas and owns the honor of being Houston's first Black female physician. Dr. Patton Law's career was in service of working class and poor Blacks who could not afford health care or were refused it based on racial policies of the day. Thelma Adele Patton Law was born December 30th, 1900 in Huntsville, Texas. The future healthcare pioneer entered Howard University, earning both her undergraduate and medical degrees. While at the institution, Patton Law became a charter member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. After interning at Washington Freedmen's Hospital, she returned to Houston in the 1920s. During her 25 years in practice, Law was also connected to another historic figure. She helped in the birth of the late Texas Congresswoman Barbara Jordan in Houston in 1936. Jordan became the first Black woman to the Texas Senate after Reconstruction, and the first Black woman politician from the South to be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. Despite her educational credentials, Patton Law had some struggles, as were expected in the South. Her services were often the only care poor citizens in the city could afford, and as an OBGYN practitioner, Patton's law expertise filled an important need. In Houston's Third Ward, Patton Law worked in less than favorable conditions, but remained dedicated to her work and was seen as a leader in the Black community. Patton Law married James H. Law, a teacher and coach at Wheatley High School in the Houston school system. She passed away in 1968. So that's our Black History fact for this week. Dr. Thelma Patton Law.
Well, she did that shit.
She definitely did that shit.
Well, thank you. Shit. Well, I have a who did some shit this week, and I really like my Who Did Some Shits to be very positive, of what's going on, people doing great things. However, I cannot let this pass.
Okay.
This is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
So, NYU, New York University, it's ranked one of the top research universities in the country and all that other kind of stuff. NYU had a Black History Month program.
Okay.
That was catered. And they served, are you ready for this? Are you sitting down?
Mm.
They served watermelon flavored water and Kool-Aid. What? Huh? What? They serve water.
Okay.
Why are you laughing? They serve
go ahead.
Watermelon flavored water and Kool-Aid.
Watermelon flavored water and Kool-Aid.
And Kool-Aid at this Black History
all the
Month.
Stereotypes for the drinking purposes.
Okay. So,
of
course, here we go with the, I apologize. The president of NYU is apologizing. And they said this was not an NYU thing. They blame the caterer. The caterer is Aramac. Aramac blamed the people who took the order, said they were fired. So it's like the blame game. Everybody is the blame game. But, I mean, for real.
Of course. Wait, so they're saying that, so Aramark is saying that the people who took the order ordered watermelon flavored water and Kool-Aid.
No,
they told them that that's what they wanted. They're
saying that the people who took the order. They're saying the people who took the order because they said they got fired because their protocol says if there's a special event, you have to work one-on-one with the people who are hosting a special event to find out specifically what they want. And they didn't do that.
Okay.
So what they were saying is the people who took the order took it upon themselves to provide the watermelon flavored water and the Kool-Aid.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, listen, it's still amazing to me. And I don't even know why it's amazing to me, especially how I am, because we all know that I'm pro-Black. And it is still amazing to me some of the things that I hear. Not everything, but some of the things. Now, you could tell me, like, the most racist thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm not surprised by that. But to serve watermelon-flavored water and Kool-Aid because you knew that you were hosting a Black History event, not because you were hosting an event at NYU, because if this would have been March, you wouldn't have served watermelon-flavored water or Kool-Aid. You wouldn't have served none of it. It wouldn't have even been a thought process in your mind. And, nobody thought that this was a bad idea. Like
nobody knew that was watermelon-flavored water and Kool-Aid? Nobody knew that?
Right. So
only two people got fired.
Before I even make the point that I'm going to make, who brought this up? Like, was it one of the Black students who attended the gathering? Was like
the headline. No, the headline I saw on my news feed was NYU's president apologizes for watermelon flavored water and Kool-Aid served at Black History Month. What? And I just kept looking at the title like, huh?
Right.
What? I just kept looking at it before I even.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was just flabbergasted.
Okay, so it goes back to the point that I made when we talked about consumer affairs. It feels like, it could not be, but it feels like people are trying to do certain things as far as racial issues are concerned so that they can benefit from it. Because it goes back to what I said, it doesn't matter if it's bad or good. All press is good press, especially to people who are running a company. So obviously this is negative press, but it doesn't matter because it's press nonetheless. So it gets an eye on NYU and it gets an eye on Aramark. So it just shows me that what I was thinking is true, because it's nothing in your mind unless you're thinking race, which of course is a Black History program that you would want to even serve something like that. You took the most stereotypical things. I mean, like, what else did you have on the menu? Fried chicken? I guess you should have. It would have went wonderful with the watermelon flavored water and the Kool-Aid, since that's what they think that we're about. So it just goes back to what I was saying, that these people are using the racial climate of the world that we're in today and social media and how it has an eye on people, and they're profiting off of it. You know, you might lose some people, you might get some negative press, but nonetheless, you get it.
Well, I think that it is not enough for Aramark to fire 2 people who took the order or whatever, and I think that Aramark, however you pronounce it, should lose their contract with NYU. I think NYU will be making a statement that these things are not tolerated, and we don't have time for you and, you know, making us look bad. If it's really Aramark's fault, then you delete them as a vendor.
Well, at the end of the day, it's your fault, because even if it's not your fault, it's your fault. The onus will always come down on you, because you are the caterer. You made the decision. Now, somebody had to approve this. You know what I'm saying? Like, but did you put watermelon flavored water, or did you put Kool-Aid on it? And then if you sent it to a person and then you sent it by delivered it, say, I send over the contract and I have the menu or whatever, and then I send it over to a white person that's the head of the department, right? Even though it's the Black History program or whatever, but let's just say that this person is over top of that, you know, does the catering budgets and does the catering acceptance and all like that. If I sent that over to you, if you was a white person and you wasn't really like thinking, I mean, like, again, it's the stereotypical thing. You like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. But did you put that in it? Because, like I said, the blame will always come back on Aramark. You are the caterers. You were the ones that made the decision. Because even if NYU said, hey, serve watermelon flavored water, you could say no. You could say, no, we don't have that. No, we can't provide that. You know, so, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it's always going to come down. It's going to come down on you, because NYU can automatically say, nope, we didn't say yes to this. They can say that. And you just thought it was a good idea to add it in.
I'm just saying. First Dove called me dirty, now this.
Right.
I thought it was right. I
thought it was too. It's just ultra ridiculous is what it is. And if I hear of another company, which we will hear, you know, we'll hear of another company that comes out that says something racial, and then they do the whole apology thing, and then because of the way that the society is, it's like a microwave society now, it's forgotten about tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So who did some shit. Wait, are we done with that?
Well, just to piggyback on that before you get into your who did some shit, because, you know, I am our who did some shit. No, it wasn't who did some shit. It was our consumer affairs. So I got some information from an executive at ExxonMobil in Houston. Houston. And their response to so, I mean, you know, we're doing big things, Boo. So their response to my saying I knew that I would never buy gas from ExxonMobil, you know, because Exxon Valdez happened before I had a driver's license. They said that, and this is a younger executive too. She's still in her 20s, but she said that prior to the Exxon Valdez spill, there were no regulations in this field, in the fuel and oil and things like that. There were no regulations in the field. People were hurt, died, you know, stuff happened all the time, every day. There was no regulations. And because of that Exxon Valdez spill, ExxonMobil started to champion for people for them to have regulations and safety regulations in the field. And they said, so now today, ExxonMobil is like the pioneer champion, the face of safety in their industry. And it goes not to just how they do the fuel and the shipping, but even in their work environment. If an employee complains that their wrists are hurting, they'll get them an ergonomic chair or keyboard or whatever. Like, they do everything. You have to hold on to the banister when you're walking down the stairs. You have to use courtesy, things like that. And so that they do everything, and they're always lobbying to improve the safety of the industry as a whole, because some fuels come from, they was like, well, you get fuels from, like, Venezuela has fuel as well. And but Venezuela is like a war-torn country. Like, the people steal, like, that's like the most valuable thing they have, and the people steal, and it's not regulated. So they're saying that we don't want to support getting oil from or fuel from there, because they don't want to comply with the regulations that they're trying to set forth. So, kudos to you, ExxonMobil. I've had a driver's license for over 30 years now. I don't know if I'm going to go get gas from there, but hey, I appreciate you reaching out. Thank you.
Right. Right. It's good to know. I mean, it's good information to be armed with. And it goes back to, even with the thing when I talked about with Gabrielle Union, it makes you look at it from a different standpoint. Not that for you, you're not going to like her. For you, you don't know if you're going to go and buy Exxon gas. However, it does put it into a different perspective and a different light, and it makes you look at it a different way. And it's good just to be armed with the information, just in case.
Just in case, right. And for the record, I don't dislike Gabrielle Union. I really don't know her to dislike her.
Right.
It's just that whenever I see her out, every time we see her out, she's always looking like she's sucking on lemons. And then even when she smiles, it just doesn't look genuine. And she's always so snippy and attitudey. And like, I'm like, man, did she wake up on the wrong side of the bed every day? So, it would just be nice to see her out and just be like genuinely. And, of course, I want that for everybody because I'm a happy person. I want people to experience the wonderful life of, even though I've been through some shit, I choose, to have joy.
To be happy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You do.
So, okay. Exactly. I do. That's right. Okay, so who did some shit?
My who did some shit this week is about the area that I live in. So I live in Northern Virginia, and in Leesburg, Virginia, I think it was like a place for the Confederate or something, I never really did my full research on it because I didn't even know Northern Virginia existed when I first moved here. I really thought, like, coming from New Jersey, I always thought Virginia started in Richmond. When we go down south, it's like you ride on by, and the next thing you know, I'm in Virginia and I'm in Richmond. So that's just what I thought all of my life. Like, when I found out about Northern Virginia was when I moved here. Like, I got the job, and it was like, oh, you're going to be moving to Northern Virginia. And it was like, where? And I'm thinking, I'm living in the South. I'm going to be living it up. No, you're not.
Right.
You are not. I live in the D.C. metro area. You're not living it up.
Right.
But that's another time, another topic. But in Leesburg, Virginia, there were reports a couple of months ago that people were handing out KKK flyers. And today, so today, I mean, it was, national news that had come out.
Right.
And then today, a friend, I was talking to a friend, like we have a group chat with the ladies that I'm in the book club with, but, they used to be my book club people, but now they're my friends. And so my friends were telling me about one of her coworkers who had KKK flyers distributed in her neighborhood. I want to say, I don't know if it was like in her mailbox specifically, but in her neighborhood, And I was just like, I wasn't flabbergasted about it because we know that the KKK exists and we, all of those things. But I think that I was more flabbergasted, like, this is right in the town, or like
Yes.
5 minutes from me. I used to live in Leesburg, until I moved to the next town over. And the next town over is like across the street and you're in the next town. But
right.
So, I think it's just because it's so close. I always felt a eerie thing when I went to Leesburg. I just kind of stayed in the area that I lived in. I never really kind of traveled downtown Leesburg because you have those big plantation houses. They have a Confederate statue downtown Leesburg. They have, those red, white, and blue ribbons that people used to have. Like, I can't describe how they look, but those red, white, and blue ribbons that they used to have outside of the slave master's house. And
like the
they had those, those bowls. They had those on some of the houses when you're driving through downtown Leesburg. And so even before I knew that this happened a couple of months ago, I used to always say, every time I had to go to downtown Leesburg, I'm like, it's something real racial going on around here. You know what I'm saying? And it's a diverse place, but not a diverse place, if that makes sense. Like Northern Virginia is a lot of diversity as far as who lives out here. But in certain sections, of course, is dominated by white people. Everywhere really is dominated by white people. But like I said, I used to always just have a feeling like, I ain't going to be down here long. Let me take care of what I got to take care of and get up out of here because something ain't right. And now today this. And I just was like, this is crazy. It is crazy. And the
for
way
you
that
to go around and put flyers in strangers' mailboxes and neighborhoods of cars like black people just don't live there, like you just don't care. Wow. Okay.
You don't care. They don't care.
Right.
Like you're out here and they were recruitment fires. Like, hey, come join us. That's what they were. And so my other girlfriend was saying, oh, did she put an orange ribbon outside of her door? And I was like, well, what is that? Because I never heard of that. And she was saying that it lets them know when you have an orange ribbon that you're not interested. Don't bring that over here. Like, keep that far away from over here. And I'm thinking to myself, like, ain't no orange ribbon going to stop nobody from doing what they want to do.
Not just that. That might make you a target. Like, oh, they ain't about it. So, let's do something to them.
Right.
Like, no thanks. I'm good.
Yeah. So I was just like, the first thought in my mind, which is the first thought in my mind all the time when something happened, I said, I got to move. I can't be living out here. Because my pro-black ass has been walking down the street with a Malcolm X T-shirt, and then I'm a target, and that's why I keep that metal in my car.
Yeah, that's scary.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going down without a fight, but it's ultra scary. It's like crazy. So, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. That's why I don't really be going, like I said, downtown Leesburg. I'll keep my behind right in this daggone house, work to home, and I'm okay with it. I'm not scared. But, it is a scary thing. But, I feel fine. I don't feel unsafe in my neighborhood. But, we from Camden. I feel I'm on high alert no matter what,
Right.
Don't matter to me.
Wow.
I'm on high alert all the time, no matter what I'm doing. So, that was my who did some shit for this week.
Yeah. You better be careful out there.
I surely will. And, hopefully, prayerfully, we won't hear of anything else going on. And they get to the bottom of this and find out what's going on. And obviously, I need to pay attention more to my to my neighborhood, and take it from there. We'll stay in prayer and just hope that everything works out for the best. But let's transition out of that and get into this topic because Wakanda forever. First, let me just say this, or ask you this: give me your thought. Like, how did you feel about the movie? What did you think about the movie? What was your first thought about the movie?
Well, I wasn't, like, when it was a lot of hype leading up to the movie before the movie came out, and, like, all the memes, like, oh, we going to walk into Black Panther like this, oh, we going to walk into Black Panther like this, whatever. So I wasn't really on the hype train before the movie. I knew I was going to see the movie because, I support us.
Right. I Love Us for Real.
I didn't exactly, and I didn't really know that I was going to see it like opening weekend. You know, it just happens to turn out that I did, and I'm glad because I usually see it, you know, for the big money. They want you to go see it like the first 2 weekends or whatever. So I didn't think I was going to go see it opening weekend, but it just happens, you know, that I did.
Right.
However, and I did get dressed. You know, we have a lot of, you know, clothes or whatever, and my daughter got dressed too. She had on her Osa outfit, whatever, with her collar and everything. And I mean, even when she said
beautiful. She was doing it up.
she said, we took because my best friend came over, and she was like, and when my daughter came upstairs, she was like, yes. She was like, oh no, I got to take pictures of y'all. So we were outside, and she took pictures. And so we got to the movie theater. I didn't want to take pictures, but, you know, my daughter wanted to take pictures in front of the sign. So I was like, all right. She stood in front of the sign. I took the pictures, and I was like, okay. And then, like, strangers, people we did not even know, they were like, because we went out to King of Prussia to the IMAX theater to see the movie.
Oh, okay.
And so people were like, hold on. And they was just taking pictures. They was like, you look so nice. Oh, my goodness. And like, so strangers was taking pictures of Deja in front of the sign. So, yes, we got dressed and we saw the movie. And when I tell you, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. That was one of the best movies I ever saw in my life. And it really was like, first of all, I love feel-good movies. I love movies that make you feel motivated and loved and empowered. You know, I just like movies like that. I'm not really into the whole Marvel and comic strip stuff. You know, you know how I feel about the do, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the movie was excellent. I am going to go see it again. You know, I may see it at least 3 times in the theater. So, you know, if anybody want to take me out on a date, you can take me there. Like, we could talk for like 10 minutes before the movie starts and talk for like 10 minutes after the movie, and then that's our date. But anyway, because I definitely will go see it again. But I really, really, really loved the movie. Like, I loved it.
Nice.
Did you love it?
You know what? I absolutely 100% loved it. And you know what? It was not what I was expecting. And I think that's what I loved the most about the movie. Like, the movie, I mean, we'll get all into everything about the movie, but I never saw a Marvel movie because I'm the same way. I'm not into action movies. I'm not into the comics. I never read a comic in my life. So it's just like, okay. So I was like you. It wasn't that I wasn't excited for the movie, but I felt the same way, kind of like I knew I was going to see the movie, but it wasn't like, oh my goodness, just coming from Civil War, Captain America, whoever, and now we got Black Panther. I wasn't like that because I don't know the characters, you know, and Black Panther was in other stuff. Who would have thunk it, you know? So when I was expecting the movie to be like, almost like cartoonish, if that makes sense. Like, I thought that it was going to be, you know, like comic-y. So I was that's what I was kind of expecting. But I was pleasantly surprised about the movie, the way that it was made. I mean, just everything about it was just like, oh my goodness. And even the action scenes, it's so funny because with the action scenes, I felt like, oh no, I need more. Like, I felt like I needed more action, and I'm not even into that kind of stuff. But I felt like, man, they could have had another scene where they were doing, you know, all of that action stuff and flying and, you know, the cars, and it was exciting. I mean, like, it had me like, ooh, and you know, 100%, I talked out loud at that movie on so many parts. But we'll get into that. I mean, I was talking to the screen like I was watching it at my house. And whoever was around me, which were other people, not just other people, but other white people, you know, I didn't care. I was just saying what I wanted to say when I wanted to say it, you know. And so, yeah, I loved it too. Like, it was amazing.
It really was a very, very good movie. Now, I am not good at movie critiquing and talking about scenes and stuff like that. So, I mean, you could talk about the movie, but as it refers to Wakanda forever, and that, I think that is what caught me, you know, what I like the most. Just the whole concept around, you know, Wakanda. And I mean, we've both been home. We both traveled home before, and our first trips home weren't, I don't know what I expected when I first went to Africa.
I don't know what I expected either, but it definitely wasn't what I expected.
It wasn't, exactly. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't what I expected. And I think one of the things, one of the main things, and like you've always been very, you know, I would call it power to the people or whatever. And even though I love myself and I love Black people and all that, I never was like a real militant power to the people type person. You know, I am pro-Black, but, you know, I'm just like regular with it, you know. But I remember the very first time I went home, and this is when the flight was from JFK. Now the flights go straight into Johannesburg, but they used to go from JFK to Cape Town, let people off. Nobody got on.
Right.
And then we would travel the next hour to Joburg. So the first time I went, when we landed in Cape Town and people got off, when they opened the door and I felt the air come on the airplane, because, you know, they don't have jetways because they roll some steps up to the plane. You know, you just walk down the steps. But when I felt the air, I just felt like, wow. I felt something, you know. I was like I'm home. I didn't even get off the airplane. You know what I mean? But I really, when I felt the air, I just felt something, and then I was like excited for the rest of the trip. You know what I mean? And I was there for like a month, my first time, and so it was like, oh my gosh, this is like fantabulous. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Where you're supposed to be. That's how
exactly.
I felt. That's exactly how I felt.
And then, you know, so then when I'm looking at Wakanda and they talk about the resources and the people and the traditions, and I'm like, yes, this is where we're supposed to be. It was just wonderful.
Exactly.
It was wonderful.
When the first time that I went home, I didn't know what I was expecting either. And I wasn't necessarily thinking of home in Africa, is what we're talking about, as being like we see on TV, you know, huts and animals roaming and all that. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. However, I was not expecting what I got. You know, I mean, I went to South Africa, and it was just like being in here, like being in like New York City or something like that, you know, all the skyscrapers, the buildings, the restaurants, anything you could think of, you had access to. And that alone was just like it was kind of like a shock, because I wasn't expecting it. And again, I wasn't expecting huts. I don't know what I was expecting, but I too felt like, even before we got off of the plane, when I knew that we were about to land in Africa, it was like the most amazing feeling came over me, because I've always been in that militant spirit, you know, and so it was like, okay, screw this, I'm home. This is it. I'm with my people. I'm where we come from, where our beauty lies. You know, I mean, I just felt magnificent. So, yeah, I got that same rush of feeling, and I was pleasantly surprised at the experience that I had while I was in Africa. And, you know, when I went, I had so much drama on that trip,
right.
You know, from, you know, climbing up Table Mountain. That was the best, worst experience.
That's not
of my
drama,
life. But no, but hey, listen, trying to get to the top, it was drama, honey. I was the last person. You know that story. The last person on the mountain. I had kids cheering me on. 7, 8-year-olds, New Jersey, you can do it. And I was looking at them kids like, I feel like I would throw you off of this ledge if you don't get out of my face. They was giving me like little energy things. Like it was like what are they called? You could get them at GNC. Like they look like little gummies.
Protein
and
bar?
You just pop them in your mouth. It wasn't like it was literally like a little gummy bear. And you they could have been giving me anything. I was just taking it. Help me get up this mountain, honey. Give it to me. And they was giving me some stuff.
Oh, my
goodness. What I felt like? You ever seen Castaway? Is that what's called, Castaway with Tom Hanks? So,
yes.
You know, when he got stranded on the island, right, he was just doing everything that he could to just get something going on. When he got the fire, when he found Wilson, when he made him his friend, especially when he made the fire. That's how I felt when I got to the top of that damn mountain. I was like trying to get water off the side of the mountain, anything that I could do to try to get me up there, because all I just was saying was, Jesus, if you just guide my legs one more step. And he did. He guided me all the way up to the top, because it was only by the grace of God that I got to the top of that mountain.
Well, first of all, because I think sometimes people think like, oh, you just walk up, but no, Table Mountain is not like a hike. It's like high stepping for 5 hours straight.
I would have never.
Those rocks are so big.
Timbs and jeans and a white T-shirt.
Oh no!
I did not have worn Timbs.
Yes.
Who knew? I didn't know I needed hiking boots. I didn't know that I needed like some little grip sneaks. I did not know that I'm like, okay, we climbing up a mountain. I got on Timbs. These are like mountain shoes. You know, we good. Mm-hmm. No, I'm in shape. No, you're not. But you're not in shape.
Right. So the incline, the steps are so steep. You know, from rock to rock. It's not like it's not like what is the art museum, like the Rocky Art Museum. It's not like that. It is steep, and it's like,
can't nobody tell me nothing about my life after I did that. You can't tell me. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me about, I don't have no babies, but you can't talk to me about childbirth. You can't talk to me about anything in your life until you climbed up the mountain. It was the last person, not the last person in my group. No,
like
not the last person that I was with. No, like the last person on the whole mountain. So, that happened. The bus blew up while I was in the safari, and it was in the part of the safari that wasn't no tents. I mean, it wasn't no gates. It was just out in the wilderness, and the bus blew up, and we had to get off. Then we got on another bus, and then that blew up. I mean, listen, I got stories.
Your teacher left you?
My teacher left me. Let me tell you something. We're going to get back to Wakanda, but let me tell y'all something. My teacher, right, I'm going to make this long story short. The whole time we were there, we was hungry, right? And it was because we was doing so much, right? Now, in the class that went before us, they said, make sure you pack like some cup of noodles and stuff like that in your bag because you're going to need it. I didn't pack that stuff. Who was thinking, right?
Right.
We get there. We're doing so much stuff like in a day that we don't really have time to eat. We're like eating on the go. It's kind of like if you're just going and just grabbing McDonald's. But it wasn't McDonald's. I mean, it was meals, but it wasn't enough for the stuff that we were doing. So we want to chill, right? We want to chill. Like, we're not tired of doing shit. We just trying to chill, eat, whatever. My teacher was like, make sure y'all back in, like say like 9:10. We like, all right. We sit down. It's 8:50, 9 o'clock. We still ain't get our food. So we just like, they going to wait. That's how we was like, they going to wait. So we sat, we ate, we come moseying on out. We don't see the bus. So we like, where's the bus? Whatever. No, we never seen the bus. The bus left us in Africa. Not in downtown Philadelphia, in another country, in another continent. So we just chilling, like, okay. Well, we didn't even panic. That was the crazy part. That's how hungry and how much we wanted to chill. We didn't even panic. We was like, cool. We left, whatever. We made a day out of it. We caught the Coombies. We went shopping. We went to the tattoo shop. I mean, we did it up. And when I tell you we did it up, we did it up. Here we come walking back in at 10 that night, right? Mind you, this like 9 in the morning or whatever.
Oh, okay.
We come walking back in 10, 11 o'clock, chilling like, remember when he said that? Girl, we had a good time. And my teacher was like, where have you been? And we're like,
You left us.
We was chilling. So he kept going on, and I was like, let me tell you something. Did you leave us?
Right. You left
us. You didn't leave kids in, a part of the town that they just didn't know, but they could get on the 400 and go back over to the school. No, you didn't do that. You left us in another continent. You can't talk to me about being late at all. I just looked at him and I walked away. I was like, yeah, well, see how you was worrying? See how you was trying to worry about us? That's exactly how we was when we came out and we didn't see that damn bus. Now, was we wrong for chilling? Sure. Was we wrong for taking our time to get back? Of course. But was he more wrong than us for leaving us? 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me tell you, our experiences in Africa, we could talk about for, 100 years. Because that was, but I will say this, it was the craziest trip that I had ever been on in my life, but I wouldn't change anything about it, because all of the memories that I had from that trip and what we accomplished and how I felt as a Black person on that trip, I would never take that away for almost dying on a bus, for not being able to get out of the country because my passport blew up. No, I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade that.
I did say that. I was like, when I came home, I just kept telling everybody, like, when I came home the first time, and I was like, well, I said, now y'all know I'm not deep, but everybody needs to go home at least once. Everybody because I just, everybody needs to go home at least once. Like, you have to get there. Like, you have to get there. And and like, even after we saw the movie, I was talking, me and my daughter were talking, and Deja was like, I told her how I would tell everybody, like, you have to get there at least once, and Deja's 25 and she's been to Africa 3 times.
Yeah, she's going to end up living there, 100%.
Yeah, probably. She was saying that, and she was saying that she agrees, and she said, Mom, I really think that I'm really blessed, because for some people that's like a bucket list item, and they plan and save and do something their whole life, and they finally get to go or whatever. And she was like, and I've been 3 times already, and and she said she just really feels real fortunate, to have gone. And of course she's going back, because every time she goes, she makes more friends and stuff like that.
They like, come back, girl.
They be calling her on the phone and carrying on. So she wants me to take her. She wants to go to Botswana with me, but she thinks she's my good girlfriend. She thinks that I'm supposed to go everywhere. Like, yeah, you're not my good girlfriend, child. So, but she wants to go to Botswana with me, and we'll see. Maybe get a job, but anywho.
Okay, right.
So
let's talk about Wakanda.
Okay, so I want to start with this.
Okay.
One of my friends on Facebook, like, I think it was like the day after I saw the movie, she posted this on Facebook, and I was like screaming because I could not agree more. And I told her that I was going to share it on the podcast. So this was posted from one of my Facebook friends. She is Camden Excellence.
Right.
She is, she just does it up. She makes Camden so proud. So, and she's a super nurse, and like a real nurse, like, trust her with your life, trust her with having a baby, all that kind of good stuff. She won awards, all of that. She was a star of Double Dare. When we was in middle school, she was on Double Dare. The whole class went with her and another classmate that was on Double Dare. She was on Double Dare. We was all in the audience. Exactly. Wife, mother, and she's a loyal citizen of Wakanda. And she posted, Wakanda is a state of mind and being. And vibranium is love, talent, wisdom, faith, ambition, accountability, and all good things that fuel, sustain, heals, and cultivates. Yes.
Dang, I could.
Absolutely. And it wasn't long-winded.
The best way that I ever heard it summed up. And I've been looking at a lot of reviews on the movie.
Yes, and right, that's what I'm saying. It's not long-winded. And it's very succinct, and that's exactly what it is. Wakanda is it's a being, and we can be loyal. I am loyal to that throne. Yes,
Right.
Absolutely. So, and I told her I was going to read that on the podcast because that is really what it embodied to me as well. So, you know, there were things in the movie that I really like. When he saw his father for the first time, and he knelt down, and his father was like, "Stand up, you are a king." I love the movie ever since. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the best movie ever. You know what I mean? And I just was like, this is the best movie ever. And I didn't even have to see anymore or nothing. I just knew it was going to be great, because if our men would just perceive themselves that way and behave that way, because that's what they are.
Exactly.
That's what they are. And you don't do things that's not stately or of a kingship. You know what I mean? It was just so, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest movie ever. One line, early on, one line. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is everything. So I really like that. And it was a father to son. So he had to do it because it was his dad. And, he's in a, even though his dad wasn't there, but you know how they honor the ancestors and they're still in authority over them. So I like that it came from a place of authority.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And even though you look at me as an authority, you still don't do things that are not becoming of a king. Stand up.
Right.
And
like
you
when the
do
father
it.
told him, go
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that goes to the point of when the father told him, which was my favorite line in the movie that the father said when he was like, a man that doesn't prepare his son for his death is a man that hasn't prepared him for life, and it's the truth, because people do pass away, and you have to build your children, or you would hope that you would build your children up, that they would be able to take what you have taught them and go forth with their life, prepare them for who they are going to become. And as you stated, a king, you are a king. I'm preparing you. I'm setting a place for you of who you are and who you will become. So
I really like that. And another thing that I loved about Wakanda is that, in essence, we have everything that we need. Like Wakanda was self-sufficient, sustain. We have what we need. We have unlimited resources. We can invent anything as we need it. We have it. Exactly. And we can create even for the next person. We have everything we need to thrive and to be great. We already have it. And so that was another thing that, and I'm not saying like that because maybe some people didn't see the movie. I'm not trying to put out like spoilers or anything, but these are just things of how it made me feel. And they're congruent with how I felt when I actually was home.
Right. And then another thing is this. Another thing is this, to piggyback off of what you said, we have all the resources that we need. I always talk about us as a people realizing, really coming to realize who we are, and who we are, and what we have accomplished and what we continue to accomplish. Don't forget ever that they hate us because they ain't us. That is true. And if we take, like you said, we have all of the resources that we need. They're right there in front of you. You take the opportunities, you create the opportunities, because we have for so long. We haven't had a choice. It speaks back to the Black History fact that I said today. She didn't have a choice but to create these, create a atmosphere where poor people could come to her for medical attention because there was no other place for us to go. And I wanted to just say this, and you may bring this up, but I was watching, you might not bring this up, but you might bring this point up. I was watching Lupita on The View, and she, I mean, I can't even say what she said. She spoke so eloquently, but I just wanted to paraphrase what she said. She just said at the end of her, description of the movie, she was like, Wakanda shows us what we could have been had we not been tampered with, or had no one came in to us, like when she was like, get off of me, colonizer. If we hadn't been colonized, and it's the vast, rich people that we are, and if we hadn't been colonized, what we could become. That's what Wakanda show us. It's really like, look, this is what we are, for one, and two, what we could be, like us realizing, and I'm talking about present day Black people, us realizing, hey, that's who we are, but B, look what we could become if we stick together. Because that's what I got out of the movie. If we stick together, we are a force to be reckoned with, and they know that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I say that too.
That's the divide and conquer.
Right, but that's exactly what I said, that we need to, and this was big for me because you know how I take on and take care of everybody. I'm like, oh my gosh, they need help. Let me go do this. Oh my gosh, they need help. Let me go do this. Oh, you need a place to stay. You can stay here. But it says like you protect and take care of ourselves. Like, yes, there are things that they can do for other places, that's not like them or whatever, but they have to do everything they can to protect what they have.
Exactly.
And from outside. Oh my gosh, it really made me see that you can't.
I love that.
I know you did, but I mean, even for me,
like Killmonger. But go ahead, we'll talk about that.
Right, but but for me, it was like, oh my gosh, it's okay. You have to protect what you have first, because, which is my next point, that other people, the outsiders. And whatever that outsider is to you, outsiders always steal, try to steal, or want to steal everything you have. Everything you have. Like, we can't have anything cultural. You know what I mean? They always want what we have no matter what. Like, and so if they don't steal it, just like the guys, what's his name, Claw, he stole some vibrator. Like, they stealing it, they want to steal it, they going to steal it, they plotting to steal it, they live their whole life trying to figure out how they can steal. That's what they do. That's what they do. So we have to, protect and take care of ourselves. And I thought that was wonderful. I mean,
at the end of the day, that's the reason why. I mean, it's a number of reasons why we were enslaved, but one of the reasons why we were enslaved is it speaks exactly to your point. Because A, you wanted to steal people, B, you wanted free labor, but C, you also want to see what it is that we have, what we're about, And again, they hate us because they hate us. The cultural appropriation thing is real. It happens every day. They don't want to give us credit for it, but they, like you said, steal from us all the time. It's trying to mimic who you are, and it's going to continue to go on. And Wakanda, when they kept people out of Wakanda, I was like, yes, keep us. No, it made me think of, my favorite person, Malcolm X. Because Malcolm X, he wasn't saying, even when he got out of the nation and he became his own entity, he was always preaching the fact that we, as a people, have to build ourselves up first before we can let other people in. It's not about anti-anything. It's about pro-us. We have to get our communities together, our people together, our communication together before we can let outside forces come in and penetrate that. We have to be strong, because you got to be strong enough to say, no, I'm not going to accept that. You have to be strong enough to say that, and we as a people have to get back to that. We really have to, Wakanda is a fictional place, but it's not a fictional place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's really the essence of the movie, the bottom line of the movie, what the imagery showed in the movie is very specific. It's a very specific point.
And that was one of my points, that when you bring outsiders in, they'll mess up the program.
Yeah.
When you bring outsiders in, you'll mess up the program. And you can't, just exactly what you said. You cannot bring people in and to mess up, because that's what they do. Because everybody, people are innately selfish. I don't care who you are, and they think that their way is the better way, and then they want what they want. They have their own agenda. So you can't bring outsiders in your program all the time. So yes, I totally agree with that. Another thing that I really liked was, even though they fought, there was still a respect thing. Like with the Jabari tribe, where M'Baku challenged T'Challa, and, T'Challa was like, I don't want to kill you. And he was like, I'll die in honor. And he was like, you fought with honor.
Right.
You fought with honor. You could go, so it like all the ways that they showed respect. Even when M'Baku, when they thought T'Challa was dead, and they went to M'Baku and they wanted to offer him the heart of the flower. It was a respect thing. Like, yes, he knew that he was still alive because he was there, but it was respecting that he wouldn't even accept that because it's not his thing. You know what I mean? Like, people, it just like a regular respect. Like people just don't have respect for people's stuff anymore. Sitting on a church's stoop, smoking cigarettes and carrots, like this, like there's just no respect. So
just outside smoking a pipe. I mean, remember when we was walking and we saw the guy standing outside? And it's like, I mean, here's the thing.
You can't expect manners from a crackhead while they smoking crack. I mean,
yes, you can. No. Yes, you can, because it goes back to yesteryears, right? It always goes back to yesteryears. It goes back to our ancestors, what we had to do. That ain't got nothing to do with smoking crack, but I'm saying it always goes back to yesteryears. The crackhead of yesteryears was respectful. The crackhead of yesteryears wouldn't let you see them smoking crack outside on the step when you woke up. They didn't. I mean, like, you don't know if I'm the cops. You don't know if I'm anything. And this is getting off the damn subject. But what I'm saying is, yes, it's simple. It's just simple respect. Even the way children don't respect adults anymore, and adults don't make them respect children. My mom goes into stores. She sees kids cussing and stuff. She says something automatically. Don't you see me standing here? And you're going to sit here and you're going to curse and all that, because people ain't teaching their kids that kind of stuff no more. It used to be a time where you seen an adult or an elderly person, whoever, and then you was like, oh, no, there's such and such, Mrs. So-and-so. Or even if you didn't know them, it was just because they were an adult and you respected them. We don't have that anymore. We're not practicing that anymore, and we're not teaching that anymore. And at the end of the day, life is about teachable moments. You don't just wake up and know everything. You have to be taught something. So yes, I agree. That was a beautiful thing with the respect thing.
And I also like Wakabi, who, when he had, and you see how his tribe, even though they were, going into like a civil war thing, but he had the power to start and stop the fighting. And, because the people listened to him. They looked for him for the call. They started. They looked for, and then when T'Challa told him to call him off and he didn't, and they kept fighting with him. But then when he conceded, like
Whitaker's character?
No, Wakabi was the guy from Get Out. What's his name? Where they had the shields and where the blankets was the shield.
He pissed me off. He turned.
He was angry. He was angry. I don't want to
angry.
No,
first of all, if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, this is no shade.
Yeah, don't spoil it
by now. No, first of all, if you haven't seen the movie by now, this is a review about the movie. It's a review about the movie, and it's also a review about how we felt about the movie. So the guy from what was his name?
His name is, in the movie, his name was Wakabi.
Yeah, Wakabi. Wakabi pissed me off when he almost was getting ready to even turn against his woman. He pissed me off.
Right,
I understood that he was mad, but had
right.
the loyalty. But then it goes back to the ancestor thing, and he was mad because Claude had killed both of his parents.
Exactly.
So he was upset. I guess, I guess I get it a little bit, but no, I really didn't get it.
Well, but it was, in the end, it was like, you see how the whole tribe respected. They waited for his call to start fighting, and then and T'Challa said, tell him to stop, because he had the power, and they respected him enough to do what he said, but even though he didn't. And then at the end, when he went and got the rhino, and I thought that was so cute. And she stood in the way or whatever.
When she stood in the way of the rhino, and the rhino licked her face, because the rhino knows the woman rules the world. He knows. He was like, that's my mom.
They were a couple. Right, exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. The rhino was getting ready to charge her, but then he was like, that's my mother. Like, I can't. Sorry, I can't do it. It's my mom.
Yeah. And then
the man bowed down to her.
Exactly. See, that's a respect thing, because they know, what I mean? It's things get heated. Just like in families, we have arguments and things like that. But at the end of the day, we're still family. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're still family. So even though, it was a ruckus, there's still a respect. And she was a warrior. So not only did he concede, but he conceded to her in respect to her position as a warrior, because he knelt down and put his weapon down. And so it was just oh my God, we can, it was just, it's okay to respect people. It's okay to respect people, to humble yourself. It's okay. Ain't no love lost. They still won't be together. You know what I mean? But I just liked that. I just liked that whole respect thing. I did. So go ahead. What was you going to say?
Because I was going to say, even though he kneeled down to her, it was a respect thing, because he knew that she was a warrior and all that. He knew that about the king as well. You were supposed to have respect for him as well, but you didn't.
But it's a different, you try, but he tried it. He tried it. He knew he was defeated. It didn't work. You bow down. You know what I'm saying?
So
he tried it. I'm just saying, he tried. And people do have the right to their feelings, because the people have the right to their feelings, and he was, it was very personal to him. And he's like, my love, will you kill me? And she said, for Wakanda, I will. And that's what I'm saying. We have to protect Wakanda. We have to protect Wakanda.
I'm loyal to the, and that's the thing. Stand for something or fall for anything. I'm loyal. She said, I'm loyal to that
throne.
Now,
that's exactly.
When she did that, I was livid. When she was like, it doesn't matter. I have to be loyal to the throne. But, if we're talking about the movie in the sense of how we're talking about it, putting it into a different perspective than just a review of the movie, I understand her, because it's like if I say right now, I don't agree with that, but I got to be loyal to Black people always. I'm always going to be loyal to the community, so in that regard, I get it. I was pissed in the movie, but I get it. I think I got it just now, though. I think it was just like an aha moment just now. Because for a long time, I was like, since I saw the movie, I was upset with her. Like, she redeemed herself at the end, and it was all pretty good. Like, when she seen her king, when she saw her king come back, it was like, oh, no, I have to, protect my king now. But, I probably just got that. But, okay.
The respect was great. And also, I really, I appreciated the fact that, they wanted to help other people, but you can't always help others. And that was like another great point and really personal for me, because I really had to learn that even though you have it, you can't help or serve everybody. You have to be very, very concise, like strategic in what you get involved with that's outside of you.
Right.
Because you had to protect Wakanda.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I really love that. And I also
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I agree with you in that regards. But even though I didn't like Killmonger, when Killmonger came in and he was talking about what he wanted to do, I understood what he wanted to do because it was just his approach. And sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. It goes back to like that whole thing with Monique, right? It's not what Monique was saying was wrong. It was the messenger that it was the message was sent through, because what she was saying was correct. Pay me my equal share. If you say I'm a legend, pay me as a legend should pay. Killmonger was saying, hey, it's other black people that's suffering like me when I was in the hood, so let's go and help them. And so I understood what he was saying. It was just his method and his approach. And like I said, the messenger of what he wanted to do. What he wanted to do was not wrong. It was just the way that he wanted to do it. That was wrong, Well, but then we're going to see at the end that they're going to do it anyway, but they're just going to do it in the Wakandan way when it's a sequel.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was exactly my point. Killmonger was not not Wakandan. Like he was, but he wasn't, because he wasn't raised there. He wasn't familiar with the culture. He wasn't familiar with the people. He wasn't familiar with the way. So he was by birthright, but and I kind of wish they would have, just like when he went back to see his dad the second time, and that was another point that I thought was great, because no matter how great it is, parents make mistakes. Parents make mistakes all the time, and you can't be angry with them. The mistake could have been, wrong or whatever, but they make mistakes, and you have to accept the fact that it wasn't you, and you can move to correct it if you want to, or however you want to deal with it. But parents, even the greatest parents, make mistakes. But it doesn't take away who they were to you. And he said, why didn't you bring him back?
Right. I thought that because T'Challa was too. Let me let you finish your point before I even start talking about him, because in regards to him bringing him back, let me let you finish your point. Go ahead.
And because I think, when his dad, so he knew he had the boy, so he should have brought him back to Wakanda when he was young, so he could experience and be a part of it, because, he knew about it, and that was his son. He should have took him back.
Yes, he should have took him back, but he made the firm decision that he made. And at the end of the day, sometimes you have to make tough decisions. And the father said to the son, T'Challa's father said to him, he said, sometimes, I don't remember exactly what he said because, my memory is bad, but he was saying, like, sometimes being a king, it forces you to make the hard decisions. And a king with a soft heart is not a good king. You'll have challenges. And it's the truth, because you can't want, as a leader, when you're leading a people, sometimes you have to make decisions that don't always go with what people feel that you should do. I thought that T'Challa will always have obstacles because he was soft, and not soft in a way of like, I don't know, candy apple soft, not like that, but just like he had emotion.
Nice.
Let me just say that. He was nice. He had emotion.
Right.
He wanted to protect people. And I think all of that is good. It's good. It's good because in the grand scheme of things, it was wonderful for Wakanda, because that's how they were able to prosper all of the time that they was able to prosper, because they had people like that leading them. And they were going to go down the tubes with a person like Killmonger, because he was all about the kill, But I think that to be a king, you have to have a little bit of Killmonger in you, and you have to have a lot of T'Challa in you. So I wasn't all the way mad at Killmonger. Let me say that. I was mad at him, but I wasn't like pissed at him. So I think that the king, the father, the first king, he made a tough decision not to bring the boy back, but for T'Challa to be so angry that he didn't bring him back. Because here's the thing: who's to say? Let's just say, players devil's advocate, right? Who is to say that Killmonger, he wouldn't have brought Killmonger back, and Killmonger would have still ended up being kind of who he is?
Just like the same with Wakabi. Wakabi was mad, you know what I mean? But he still would have been. And by the way, side note, I can't wait to get a Hey Auntie shirt. I can't. But just like Wakabi was upset or whatever. I mean, you don't know what would have happened. All I'm saying is, he fought. Now he was not Wakandan in the spirit of a Wakandan citizen. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wasn't right. And he fought and he killed to get there. That's where he wanted to be. And but I don't really look at him as like, the bad guy, because when things happen to you, you react. And that was just like his reaction or whatever. And they were able to save Wakanda. So I think that's wonderful. But
and here's the thing, though, was he not of Wakandan because the Jabari tribe were barbaric and they were considered to be aggressive and all of that stuff? He could have been a part of their tribe. They were Wakandan, but they were just of a different tribe. But they were in Wakanda.
They were Jabari. They wasn't barbaric.
You don't think they was barbaric?
They wanted to try, they lived out in the snow and everything. First of all, I want to know how you a vegetarian when ain't no vegetation out where you live. That's my first thing. He was like, I'm like looking at all that snow, like what's growing out here? But anyway,
right.
But all the tribes were, he was the only one that challenged the king. And to me, when he first came, it seemed like first of all, that was the ugliest mask I ever seen in my life. It was scary. And it seemed like a little schoolboy rivalry, like, oh, I get my chance to fight T'Challa. It's kind of what it seemed like. Nobody else had the challenge, and he just wanted to, to fight. But I don't really like consider them like barbaric. They just was another tribe. But first of all, he wasn't in that tribe because he was the first king's brother's son.
Right.
So he was in the same tribe as T'Challa, but he just was robbed of the opportunity to learn who he was.
Yeah, and he was so angry. And I think that
he was very angry.
Just goes back to the way that I feel about. It's probably just personal on the way that I feel about things. And what I mean by that is just like, how you have a child, the father is kind of like in and out, but the mother is there all the time, making things happen, making your life better, making sure you eat, making sure you got lights. And the father comes and goes when he wants to. He might buy you a pair of sneakers or whatever. And then the child is so angry at the mother, like, I can't believe you didn't let my father be a part of my life. No, your father didn't want to be a part of your damn life. You know what I'm saying? And you know how I feel about things like that. And so that's probably why I feel like get over it. I don't want to say get over it, Killmonger, because you never know how you're going to react in a certain kind of situation. But Killmonger, like, is it because he was left in the hood, you think? And then he had to fend for himself?
It's not so much because we don't know if he had a mom or anything like that. I don't think it was because he was left in the hood. I think what it was because he went upstairs and he discovered his father was dead, and his father always talked to him about Wakanda and going to Wakanda and how great Wakanda was. And then him being dead, and I think he kind of knew it was something from Wakanda. It just probably left a bad taste.
Remember when they looked up in the sky?
Right, and it left a bad taste in his mouth, and he just always wanted to avenge his father, which is natural, which is natural. So, and
I just feel like the first king had to make hard choices. But go ahead.
Well, I don't. He should have took that boy with him, and then I also believe that, it was a movie, but in real life, they should have gave that boy if they would have embraced that boy, I think they could have thwarted the whole situation.
However,
but T'Challa knew. That's what I believe.
However, because a friend brought that same thing up, if they would have embraced him, if they didn't get a chance to embrace him,
they did. They
did
have a chance.
As soon as he came, when he stood in front of the guys, what is the guy from Get Out's name in this movie?
His name is Wakabi.
Okay, when he stood in front of him and he gave him when he showed him Claw's body, right? He brought him to T'Challa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he walked in, literally when he walked in the door, they didn't get a chance to say, oh my goodness, they didn't get a chance to say that. He came in and he was automatically aggressive and said, I want to challenge the king. This is my spot. It's my throne.
I disagree because they asked him who he was and he was silent. They asked and they start talking like he didn't understand the language. They did a whole lot of stuff before he started saying, hey, auntie, this and that. He was not. He was not.
Yes, he was.
He was not. And he was not. And even if he was, T'Challa knew who he was. He knew who he was as soon as he saw him when he came to get Claw. He knew who he was. He knew who he was when Wakabi came to him and said, somebody brought me Claw. He knew. So they had a chance to welcome him or to say, even if it was one-on-one, they had the opportunity, they didn't take it. And I'm just saying, not that it would have changed anything, maybe, but it would have been nice. Exactly. They did have the chance. You always have an opportunity to be nice.
You have an opportunity. First of all, no, you don't always have an opportunity to be nice. No, you do not. Even if you want to be nice, you don't always have an opportunity to be nice. People don't always give you the opportunity. Now, whether you choose to be nice, whether someone gives you the opportunity or not, is on you. But you don't always have the opportunity to be nice. No, you don't. But anyway, that'll be another. Write that down, one for the book that we don't agree on, because we was doing pretty good all the way up to this point. We was doing pretty good.
They had the opportunity to be nice.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, my next point. Did I say that you can't serve and help everybody? Because that was a good point. Because you can't.
Yes, you
and
can't.
I had to learn that, and that was a good personal lesson for me.
Yes, and I was glad that Wakanda, whether or not people thought they should be doing anything, I was glad that they did not do what they didn't, because it goes to your point. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, first of all. But second of all, it's okay to keep something for yourself. It's quite okay. We are the only, what Wakanda showed me was what I've been saying forever. We're the only race of people who can't be just for ourselves. We have to always be inclusive of somebody else. We have to be inclusive of homosexuals, which is fine. We got to be inclusive of women, which is fine. But why can't we be inclusive of Black homosexuals? Why can't we be inclusive of Black women? Why can't we be inclusive of Black transgenders? Why do we have to take on the whole movement? Only Black people, though. They only do it to Black people. When I went to the I think I said this before, when I went to the March on Washington, the 50th anniversary March on Washington, I'm almost certain I talked about this before, but it was us and everybody else. It wasn't, even though the March on Washington was a movement for other people, it wasn't, but it was a civil rights movement. We just can't be just about us, and that made me so grateful in the movie that Wakanda was just like, it's Wakanda forever. Us, Wakanda. It's no shade to anybody else, but it's just like, let us do us. Let us take care of us. Yeah, man. That made me feel good in the movie.
That is true. And there are some more, there are other examples of how we always feel like we have to be inclusive and other people just don't. I don't know why we take on other people's problems all the time. I kind of agree with that. But the point that we don't have to prove anything to anyone, I just thought that was another personal thing for me because how they kept saying, oh, Wakanda, that's in East Africa. Oh, it's a third world country. Oh, it's this, it's that. And they were like, nobody ever got on the news and was like, we not third world, we in East Africa, but we doing all this. Like you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just be great, and that's why, when I say be great this week, because just be great. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, just live for yourself and be great. And, and that was, another thing that just hit home personally with me. Like, I don't have to prove anything to anybody, and I don't. I do. I am me without apology, and that's just who I am. Just like what my friend was like, "Oh, you going to the movies? Oh, you dressing up too?" Like, and I'm like, "Well, first of all, I dress like that all the time." And then she was like, "Oh, yeah, you do." But even if I didn't, if I wanted to dress up to go to the movie, then I'm dressing up to go to the movie because I'm going to be who I am, and I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Right. And that makes me think of the point of all of the hoopla around the movie in regards to people dressing up. People don't say anything when there's Star Wars movie coming out, Captain America movies coming out. People dress up for that kind of stuff all the time. They have conventions about that stuff. I mean, whole ass conventions, Comic-Con, all that kind of stuff. And people are in there doing it up. They save up for it. They go, they purchase a registration, they go to seminars and they meet these characters. I mean, it's a huge thing. But as soon as it's Black Panther and we take on Wakanda forever, then it's like, Black people. And this is coming from other Black people. And that's what pisses me off the most. It's not coming from outsiders. It's coming from our own people. Oh, we always got to be extra. Oh, we always got to be dancing in the lobby. We got to be dressing up in African. You know what? Yes, we do. Because it's time for us to reclaim who we are. You started off the podcast talking about how we were kings and queens. And that's exactly what we need to do. And no, you don't have to put on traditional African clothing to do that, to prove. But if you want to go back to where you came from in your history, then yes, you can, and you do, and you should. So, that kind of stuff, what I was seeing on social media the whole time, it really just burned my bridges. And it speaks to your point of we don't have to prove anything to anybody. And another thing is enjoy what you're doing. Stop worrying about other people. We don't have to. I always tell my coworker, I'm always like, I'm tired of people explaining to white people anything in regards to Black people. I'm tired of it. I don't have to keep explaining to you why we don't want to be shot down in the street. I don't have to keep explaining to you why we shouldn't be taking away food stamps for people that look like me. I don't have to keep explaining to you, whatever it is. I don't have to keep explaining to you why my hair is natural, why I twist it this way, why I dress this way, why I listen to the music I listen to, why I don't want to go to an event that has watermelon flavored water and Kool-Aid because it's so stereotypical. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to keep explaining that to you, nor will I. So, yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, so that's just, I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie. I really felt empowered. I really liked all the things that Wakanda represented to me. And even in my my real experience in going home, all the times I've been there, my friends and I've been, Skyping and talking and texting and Facebooking, because like, have you seen the movie yet? Whatever, I sent the picture of me and Dave dressed up, and they like, oh my gosh, you look like real sisters, whatever. But they're like, oh well, you are, and stuff like that. And as a people, and I think that's something that I learned the first time I went, the stereotypes of Africa, and this was like some years ago. I think my first trip was in 2002. So, the stereotypes, and I didn't know what I expected, but what I saw wasn't what I expected. And I mean, I went to Johannesburg the first time, but I spent most of my time in Botswana, and I fell in love, and I love water. So for me to love a landlocked country is like really crazy or whatever. But I loved it. I love Botswana. I still, most of my friends that I have are still, they're from Botswana or whatever. And I just felt like a part of something great. And that's the same feeling that I got when I saw the Black Panther movie. Like I am a part of something great, and I want to live that greatness. So when they say Wakanda forever is those things that I mentioned. It's me not having to prove anything to anyone. It's me standing up because I'm a queen. It's me showing respect for myself and other people. It's me knowing who to help, when, and why. It's me having everything I need, all the resources. That's what Wakanda forever means. It's a perpetual state of being, and I just I totally love it.
Me too. I couldn't have said it better myself. So the consensus is that we love the movie. Probably will be seeing the movie again. And I'm sure that once we see it again, because I feel like that's the type of movie that if you watch it again, you'll get something even greater out of it.
Right,
I love the fact, and this would be my last point. What I really love the fact is that the director, Ryan Coolidge, he put Oakland in the beginning of it. When the uncle and, Killmonger's father and even them showing him, it had Oakland in it. He's from Oakland. And I love the fact that he put elements of where he's from and where he's from. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like from our home, and hey, and this is my home too. And I really love that when it first came on. And somebody had mentioned, not that I was with, but somebody else that I was talking to had mentioned, like, why did they put that? And I'm like, it speaks to who he is, and it's where he's from, and again where he's from. So I thought that was ultra clever. Yeah. So Wakanda forever. I mean,
Wakanda
we can't really
forever.
say more than we've said. It's go see the movie. If you have not seen the movie, go see the movie. It's just like, I think that it's an important piece. I think that it's going to be a timeless piece. I can't wait until the sequel, and I really can't even wait to see this again.
Me too. I just Wakanda forever, and learn the handshake. Don't forget to learn the handshake too.
Oh, okay.
We have to
practice that.
That's right. I want to see everybody out there like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, I want to see everybody.
We got to practice that when we get together. So let's go ahead and get into our personal journals for the week. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start, or?
It doesn't matter. I'm looking at my vision board.
Tell me what you're. Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at my vision board, and on my vision board, love is on my vision board more than anything. I have love just everywhere on my vision board, because love really is my favorite thing in the world. I think it's a choice, and I just always want to be a reflection of God's love. So with that being said, and there's also, on my vision board, stuff about, maybe I might get married again or something. I don't know. But it's up there, I'm
going to get a boyfriend, you're going to get a husband.
Well, it's what I have is together they work even better. So, just like partnership, whatever. So, but to that extent, even though I love and everything, my personal journal this week is about meeting men. So, okay, I don't do the online dating thing, done with that, whatever. And I know I am criticized a lot. I'm criticized all the time by people. I'm not going to mention anybody's name, Maya. That, I block my blessings. I don't give people a chance. Oh, I'm so hard on men. Oh, this, that, whatever. However, I think that I have foresight.
Okay.
I just see it before anybody else does. So I don't think that I'm like not giving people a chance. It's just that I think I have great foresight into foolishness. So with that being said, again, I was open. I went to an event, and I mean, the event was off the chain. It was nice, and I don't go out often, like that, but it was a nice event, well attended, a lot of nice people there, no drama, no shenanigans or whatever. And I was networking. I was kind of working the room. I was trying to get people to subscribe to the podcast and things like that. I met my quota that I set for myself or whatever. But there was one guy who just kept talking to me. And, I'm nice. I'll talk to anybody. But I was like, well, I'm really here for this. I'll be back. I need to work the room, whatever. I guess I didn't come back fast enough. So then he started to be where I was or whatever. And then I got closer to the door because there were people like near the door and I was talking to them. So he came near the door and I was like, well, look, I talked to you. I said I'll be back. I'm trying to get people subscribed to the podcast. You don't have a phone with you, so you can subscribe. So, I have to get so he was like, he went out to the car because he said he left his phone in the car. He got his phone. So, because he wanted me to get to my quota faster so I can get back to talking to him.
Right.
And, so anyway, he was, and usually, confidence will get you everywhere, He was just like, I'm just, so he had all the confidence and everything. It wasn't like, I was like, oh, yeah, here's my number. Call me. It wasn't like that or whatever, but he was nice, nice enough. So, but I did ask him, like, if he had children because, I don't do the little kid thing. But his son is grown or in college or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, where's his mom? Because, I don't do the married thing, girlfriend thing, boyfriend thing, drama thing, groupie thing. I don't do none of them things. So I was like, oh, where's his mom? He was like, I don't know. So the way he said it, I'm thinking like, okay, they ain't together, whatever.
Right.
So, okay, I gave him my number. He called me that night to make sure that I got home safe, whatever. It was nice. And then he like called the next day. Now I don't call dudes, so they was like, oh, take my number. Like, why? Because I'm not going to call you. I just, if you want to talk to me, call me. And they was like, oh, I got to initiate the call all the time. Well, not forever, but for the most part, yes. Right. And then, you know what I mean? So I was like, now if I don't answer the call, then, maybe, but if I answer, it's all good. That's just like me calling you. I answered. You know what I mean? So anyway, we talked like the next day for a few minutes while we were commuting. And, we would talk, just like general stuff or whatever. So when I hung up the phone, I was like, oh, I forgot to ask this guy, my little questions, are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have girlfriends? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you got, friends with benefit? So the next time he called, I asked him, I said, oh, well, by the way, I forgot to ask you, are you married? The ninja says yes. What? Huh? I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I'm separated. I said, oh, so you're married. Because
so you're married.
Let's just, right. If you are separated, you are married. Like, so I was like, oh, and then it was like, oh, okay. And I was just like, have a nice day. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. Goodbye.
And he's separated, but he still lives like in the same house and everything. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And that like that kind of stuff, it really just makes me look at dudes sideways. Like, when and then when I ask the questions, they look at you like you crazy. Like, how? Like, why are you asking me these things? Like, this stuff doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, I ask, these questions may sound crazy to you, but I ask because I have to, because the stuff happens.
I ask because you're married. Look at now.
Right.
Look at you. Right.
So in conclusion, I'm like 0 for 3 being open. So like the first dude stood me up, even though he was a Dallas Cowboy fan, so what? But the second dude was low level. This guy is married. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I need other questions to like get right to the point. Like, hi, how you doing? Oh, I'm well, thank you. oh, can I get your number? What's the fuck's your problem? Just tell me now. Is it a problem? Like,
right.
yeah, I need something to cut to the chase. Like, oh, it's too much.
Well, this is what I want to say when you're finished. Go ahead. I'll wait till you're finished.
No, go ahead. That's my personal journal. I think I'm going to be, I don't want to say totally closed, but I think I'm just going to be not so open for a little bit while I just revamp because, you know, when stuff like that happens, I get irked, and then I take out my irk on everybody, and I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, even though you are 0 for 3 in the last couple of months, the fact that you're open is a wonderful thing. And I really don't want you to be, I do give you a hard time, but it's because you be giving the business, you know, and it ain't even so much as before you see the foresight. It's really a hello. It's not, it's like.
Because it's foresight.
No, it's
that's what foresight is.
No, I understand that, but it's really literally like, hey, it's really like, hey, and then you're like, because that, and it's like, my man, and you ain't even get, like, it's not even, I don't know. I just don't want you to take this and be closed off or, you know, not open to the blessings coming into your life. And having a man is not always, I mean, that's not your ultimate blessing. But, you know, having somebody to love you, to be there for you in the hard times, I think is more about companionship. Those are the blessings that I don't want you to block because you 0 for 3. I mean, okay, you in your life, you probably 0 for 100.
Right, but what I'm saying
if you really think about all of the jokers that have come at you and that you know, may have gave 2 seconds of attention to, and then those 2 seconds was like boom, boom, up. You might be 0 for 1,000. I mean, we all might be. So you can't look at that like, you know, you have experienced love before, so you know how it feels when you have it. So I'm just saying, be open to
right. And I didn't have those foresight. I didn't have those foresight feelings either when I met those people. Like, I think that I just have to go with my gut.
Well, like, you do have to go with your gut, but this didn't piss me off.
But
I'm
my
going to tell you why, because now it's going to be harder for me to even have my point of no because. I can't even say no because, and that's my favorite line with you.
Yeah, but I got to go with my gut. My gut told me, you know, the one that stood me up, my gut was like, yeah, I don't like this guy, but be open. And then I did. And then I was open and then look. And then low level, I was like, oh, this guy don't get out. And with low level, I was going to pull off when he went to his car to get something, but I didn't want to be rude. But I just got to learn to go with my gut. Like, ugh. I just, I don't know. So that's my I'm not going to be closed off, but I'm going to go with my gut. That foresight is real.
Well, go with your gut.
Foresight,
I agree.
That foresight is real. I can tell by, you know, the way you comb your hair, the style of shoes you wear, your fingernails. I could tell.
Your hair on your knuckles. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. So that's my personal journal. I mean, you know, some people may say I'm a little hard or whatever, but I mean, it's just my observations.
Okay.
You know, just my observations. And you don't have any room to talk because your observations is like,
Well, here's the thing. My personal journal for this week is a little bit similar to what you got going on. Not about being open, but I guess about being open. I was told this evening, to all of our listeners, I was told this evening that, I was told first yesterday that I am a casual relationship lover. Like, I just, you know, I don't like things too serious, I guess. I'm more of a, well, let's see what's going to happen type of person. And even if it's years down the line, I'm still kind of like, do you ever really know a person? You know? So I was told yesterday that I was a casual relationship lover. And then I was told today by my wonderful co-host that I need to be, I guess, not a casual relationship lover, and I need to give a real relationship a chance. If I said at the beginning of the podcast that I wanted to have a boyfriend in 2018, then I have to be open to receiving that. And that means having what other people would deem serious or real relationship. So my personal journal is going for this week is going to be that, being open to not dating someone for a long time. I mean, dating them enough where I feel comfortable with them. But if someone is showing a genuine interest in me, trying to be with me, trying to start a relationship with me other than just a casual relationship, that I'm going to be open to it too. Even though I feel like I am open to that. But other people don't see it that way. Other people don't see it that way just because, I mean, hey, I like to get to know people. And I like to...
For 10 years?
Listen.
I mean, the fact is you never really get to know a person.
Time moves fast.
Yeah, but you never really get to know a person. You could be married to somebody for 20 years and really not know a person. So you wasted, and I'm not saying that you have to go headstrong in, but what I'm saying is you are so lackadaisical about it. Just be purposeful. Like, I like this person likes me, and I'm just going to be purposeful in it because people feel purpose. If you're lackadaisical, they're going to think like you really don't care. And, I mean, it doesn't take all these years. I mean, years.
Okay, first of all,
every step for you takes years. Oh, I met him in, what was that? When did we go to Mexico? 2014. I met him in 2014, and, you know, we text a little bit. Okay, then, like, 2015, we FaceTimed. Then, like, 2016, you know, we went to dinner. So now, like, last year, we was just like, okay, you want to go out again? I mean, my goodness.
Hey, at the end of the day, it's a two-way street. So if we both have to be lackadaisical, because obviously it's a two-way street. But anyway, not to get long-winded on that.
Hold on, because that's not true either. But no, because when people try to do something, you be like, oh, no, we're still in year one of FaceTime. Like, if they say something even remotely, oh, come on. Come on. Like, if they say something like, oh, I really like you, because you like, oh, my gosh, you don't even know me. You really like me. We still in phase one FaceTime. Like, come on.
That is not true. It's not true, people, that I'm talking about, oh, we're in year one. No, it's not true. It's an exaggeration. You're exaggerating. But I will say that in the past, you know, I have been a fan of casual relationships, you know, but I'm moving on to a more serious life of relationships. And, you know, if someone is interested and they're pursuing me, I'm going to be purposeful, as you stated. But
purposeful.
Purposeful. Okay. So that's enough about our love lives this week. You know, listen, we're wrapping up this podcast. It's another great episode. We appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure that you go out and you see Black Panther. Wakanda Forever. It is a
Wakanda
real thing.
Forever.
You know, it made us feel great. And we agree that everybody should visit home once in their life if you can. And even if you can't visit home, looking at this movie will take you home because it is truly authentic to home. And we want to just say bravo to the cast and the crew and everyone who helped to make this movie possible. We can't wait to the sequel. So you know what? Tell us what you think about Black Panther. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it everything that you thought it was going to be? Did you take our points that we made in our review and feel the same way? Let us know all of it. You know that you can hit us up on social media. We're at We Did That Shit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, it's We Did That Shit, all one word. Hit us up. Follow us. Like, subscribe, comment to the podcast. We are on what? Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, YouTube. We're at wonderfulmemedia.com. I mean, check us out, y'all. Let us know how you liking the show. I can be reached on my Twitter at MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibiamina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
And if I haven't said so, send us all questions that you have, feedback regarding the show. I mean, if you're loving the show, if you're not loving the show, if you have any suggestions for us, if you want us to talk about a certain topic, send it all to our email. We can be reached at wedidthatshit@gmail.com. That's wedidthatshit, one word, @gmail.com.
Remember, be great this week. Do that shit.
We Did That Shit podcast is produced and edited by Selena Singleton and brought to you by Wonderful Me Media. Wonderful Me Media. What's wonderful about you?